Down year for Maryland in 2024. Only went 4-8 under head coach Mike Loxley. Talia had left, and the QB position didn't really perform well last year. I didn't realize this. Talia is the leading. He holds the passing record in the Big Ten.
Who does?
Talia. Tagovailoa.
Oh, yeah.
To his brother.
Talia? Is it?
Talia? Is it Talia?
I believe it's Talia.
Well, if I've just pronounced her name wrong multiple times, I apologize.
I could have it wrong. I'm not positive. You can call him what you want.
Cool.
And then I'll call, and then one of us will be right. So we'll split it 50-50.
We actually are not positive at who's starting for QB this season. Justin Martin is one of the options who's transferring in from UCLA, where he had limited playing time, but he has a pretty live arm, a pretty big arm. And then who I hope they start in Malik Washington, a true freshman. He was 54th nationally, according to 247. Dual threat, very athletic, can make throws. He's one of their highest-rated QB commits of all time, if not the highest. So I think that's who they're going to go with. That's who I would go with. I would just try and get the future started, get the clock started on this guy, get him reps, let him learn early, because I don't really think this team is going to be that good this year. I'll go in and say it. So, let him learn, let him grow in game. Probably a lost season anyway. Their offensive line last season, the grade was 47.1 per PFF, which was the worst in the Big Ten. And then the other side of the ball, they averaged 0.9 sacks per game, which was the fourth worst in the FBS. So just really, really poor along the line of scrimmages, which is kind of what Big Ten football is about, is in the trenches. Really, just power football in general, Big Ten, SEC. The trenches matter so much. And they didn't have either of them. And to make matters worse, Ty Felton, their top wide receiver, and Roman Hemby, their top running backs, are both gone. And they didn't really bring in impact guys to replace them. There's some in-house guys they're leaning on to improve. But overall, it doesn't seem like the best situation for me. Thoughts on Maryland, JP or Sanders?
They also lost wide receiver, too.
They did, correct.
I had him in fantasy football is the only reason I know that. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But so they're replacing their top two wide receivers and starting a new quarterback. I will say, if you look, it's impressive that they went 4-8 last year and still landed the 8th best recruiting class in the Big Ten. When we just looked at a team like Indiana, who went 11-3 or 11-2,
sure,
and landed the 17th or something, 15th. So it was. It's a young team, a talented team. It could be if they want to, and I think that there could be a lot of benefit into getting those young guys on the field early. The risk you run is that one or two of them play well, but not enough of them to put together a team, and they all transfer out. But I do think that this could be a really good year for Maryland to kind of tear things down and kind of get some experience for the younger guys. JP?
I'm going to contradict myself on the next team, but I would not start Malik Washington. I think he's too raw. I think he's got to put on some weight is a big thing first. I think he could potentially get himself, hurt this season playing against Big Ten pass rushers. I'd start Justin Martin. I'd continue to be bad. I'd let Malik, develop physically. He reminds me, not that he is the same really whatsoever, but it reminds me of Kamario Taylor here at State. Kamario is tiny right now. They're about the same size, both 6'4". Malik's actually 6'5", but Kamario needs to put on weight just as much as Malik does, and I think Malik's in that spot.
Sure. The
talent is there. He's dynamic, especially from a dual threat perspective, so he's more than likely going to play this season just because of it's hard to keep that kind of talent off of the field. And State might be in a similar spot here at some point this season as well. But I would not start Malik. I'd start the transfer Justin. He's 6'5", pocket passer. He'll play fine. They're not going to be good, so I wouldn't rush Malik. Now, I think the big thing for them is in this era of college football, you got to keep Malik. So if you have to play him to keep him, then play him. But otherwise, I would not play Malik this year.
I get your logic. I think the reason I would start Malik off rip is you start versus FAU, and then week 2 is Northern Illinois, and then week 3 is Towson. So you give him a nice little entry into the season and can let him get his feet wet because I agree he's going to end up playing at some point this season. So let him get his feet wet before he ends up starting, week 10 against Indiana and then other dogs down the stretch. If you just let him start now, he can kind of get going a little bit.
That's a
Because
fair point.
you have to keep these guys, and like you said, you may have to let them play to keep them. So their over unders 4.5, pretty low. What are we thinking here on that?
I think I'm gonna go with the over just because. Well, actually, no. I think I'm gonna go with the under. I was thinking 3.5, but at 4.5, I still think I'm gonna go under. I think the first 3 games of the season are wins, and then they'll pick up one more. They'll pick up a Big Ten win probably.
Yeah.
But beyond that, they might beat Michigan State. I know for a while it was every year Maryland would upset Michigan State, and many of the years it was to keep Michigan State out of the playoffs or something, or out of the Big Ten championship in the mid 2010s, late 2010s. So I think I'm going to have to go under.
I've got the over. I think they'll get 2 Big Ten wins this year, then get to 5. But I'm not really convinced in that.
Valid. I think I'm also going to take the over. I can just see 2 Big Ten wins. Whether you pick off a Washington or Nebraska at home, because while they're better than you, it's nothing crazy. And then I don't think UCLA is going to be great this year either. So finding one of those, on the
Rutgers.
road, or Rutgers on the road, I think it's doable. So I'll bet in them to hit 5 wins. It's just it's a low mark. Get her done.